I've never heard of these movies. Let's fix that. Here are my top 10 favorite movies of March 2025. Now, normally when I make these videos, I just tell you the 10 movies I watched this month and put them in order of least favorite to favorite. But in March, there were so many good movies that I have to actually make choices. I had to actually sacrifice some movies that I really liked and that I got a lot from as a person because there were even better movies. So let's get into it. In 10th place is Locked. It's a tight little locked room thriller starring Bill Skarsgård and Anthony Hopkins as this dude breaks into a car and finds out that the car has been rigged to be a torture device. And he gets stuck, locked into the car for 5 straight days as he gets consistently tortured by Anthony Hopkins' character over the phone. Almost the entire movie is just Bill Skarsgård alone in a car, which means they have to do some really interesting cinematography choices, and Bill Skarsgård has to give a really strong performance to make this not boring. In 9th place is F, Marry, Kill. If you liked Hard Eyes, you're gonna love this one. It's about this woman who enters her hoe phase just as the serial killer starts killing off each of his dates who he swiped right with on Tinder. And now she has to deduce if any of the 3 different guys that she's dating are a serial killer. Which one of them should she F? Which one should she marry, and which should she kill? If you like movies where you get to point at the screen like Peter Griffin or Leonardo DiCaprio and be like, they said the name of the movie in the movie, you're gonna love F, Marry, Kill. It's got some really interesting editing choices too. The visuals are just so cool, and it's got a good dog. It stars Lucy Hale. In 8th place is Death of a Unicorn. It's about a father and daughter who accidentally run into a unicorn on their way to a rich family's cabin in the woods, and they decide to take the unicorn with them. And then the rich family realize they can use it for pharmaceuticals. And they want to trap the unicorn and breed it. And then kill off all the other unicorns for their horns. And then the other unicorns come to get revenge on everyone who is involved in the desecration of this animal. This is how to make a statement in film. This is how to make sure that no one misunderstands your message. There is no both sidesing going on here. The film is explicitly, clearly, and blatantly in favor of eating the rich. There's even a scene where a unicorn literally eats the rich. And in favor of not using animals in pharmaceutical testing. And it is so clear that it made me want to change my meds. And then I realized, no, I can't do that. I need to stay on these meds. I expected it to be very shallow because how much is there that you can really do with just animals are wonderful? Why would you use them in pharmaceuticals? And no, it gets really deep and really nuanced and very specific, and every time that it brings up the other side's argument, it immediately shuts that argument down. It makes sure there is no question about it, and it makes you feel the message. That's one of the wonderful parts of film, that you don't just hear the message, you feel it. Death of a Unicorn is why I love watching movies. Not just talking about movies, not just hearing other people talk about movies, watching the movie myself. In 7th place is Batman Ninja vs. Yakuza League. Yes, we got a full-on Batman movie this year, and y'all didn't even know it existed. That's how bad Hollywood's marketing is. That said, it is an animated movie, and DC's been less bold about marketing their animated movies. How about we put it lightly like that? It's a sequel to Batman Ninja. In this one, Batman, 4 of the Robins, Harley, and Joker get taken to an alternate universe where the Justice League are Yakuza enforcers. And it is so flippin' rad. Oh my gosh, this movie rocks so hard. The animation style alone, if you liked the animation style of Batman Ninja, it is exactly the same animation style. Somehow they made Joker actually fun to watch instead of just a plot device who shows up, does something cruel, and then disappears. A plot device who just wishes he were Dollmaker. But no, this version of Joker is so much fun. Their version of Harley, such a delight. Barry Allen, this version of The Flash, is so much fun. Danny Mata was absolutely right about this version of The Flash. This version of Aquaman is an absolute beast. If you like Jason Momoa's version of Aquaman, you're gonna like this movie. And Oh my gosh, the plans that the Bat family comes up with to beat the Yakuza League retroactively by setting something up before the fight even starts that you don't find out about until they've lost. It's so clever and so good. If you're the sort of person who says Batman would beat anyone with prep time, this is exactly the sort of movie that you will love. It stars Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Will Poulter, Tay Leone, and Richard E. Grant. It also features Anthony Carrigan, who you might recognize as Metamorpho in Superman. In sixth place is The Ugly Stepsister. Wow, I loved this one. It's a Cinderella movie based on the Brothers Grimm version, and it's a body horror movie about the ugly stepsister trying to change her body to become beautiful enough to woo the prince. A lot of body horror movies are somewhere between science fiction and science fantasy. Think The Thing, The Fly, The Substance, The Blob, or dozens of others that start with the. But The Ugly Stepsister is just realistically and accurately showing the lengths some women are willing to go to look beautiful. And because of that, it is just as much a body horror movie as it is a character study. It starts with an average, normal, everyday, basic woman and asks the question, what steps would she have to take so that cutting off her own toes is a reasonable decision? And I have never felt the pain of patriarchy and of unfair women's beauty standards that hard. This film made me change the way I live. It made me let go of wanting extreme measures to change my body. And it made me say, maybe I can just accept my body as I am, and maybe I can take small steps to have a little bit more functional and healthy of a body without worrying about what I look like. And the messaging and the symbolism are so freaking powerful. It's incredible. I love body horror because it acts as a megaphone. You don't get to be subtle in this genre. In fifth place, we have Novocaine. It's a Taken clone about a man who can't feel pain trying to rescue his girlfriend from bank robbers. It takes advantage of the premise so hard that I don't think there's gonna be another movie about this disorder for a very long time, because every other filmmaker is just gonna look at Novocaine and be like, okay, but what else is there to do? It has some of the best sound design, sound mixing, sound editing, and dialogue editing of the year. I could understand every single word without subtitles, and I could tell when I was supposed to not understand. And the ways it takes advantage of the premise are just so fun. Sure, most of the ways are in the trailer, so the movie is kind of just a 90-minute version of the trailer, so if you watch the trailer and said, I want to see that, the movie will give you that. It will give you more of what you wanted. It's so good. It stars Jack Quaid, Amber Midthunder, and Ray Nicholson. In fourth place is Odessa. It's a neon-soaked post-apocalyptic musical. It's about a small-town folk singer who moves to the big city and wants to go reclaim her dad's magic guitar and tear down a totalitarian regime with the help of a male sex worker. Every single shot is gorgeous. The set design, the wardrobe, everything in this movie looks incredible. And the songs are really nice. It stars Sadie Sink. In third place is So Torn. It's about a seamstress who comes across a drug deal gone wrong and gets three choices: walk away, call the police, or commit the perfect crime. And we get to see the consequences of each choice. If you liked that one episode of Community with the Die, or If Then Else, the Person of Interest episode, it's basically that as a 90-minute movie, and the seamstress herself is so clever and so methodical. She's MacGyvering stuff out of thread the entire movie to do stuff like breaking out of jail, and torturing a dude, and helping a kid to escape his abusive father. It does such a good job with its themes about choices and about grief, and every single shot of this film is so clearly intentional and so methodical and so clear. It's such a well-made movie. There's like 2 lines from the main character in the first 15 minutes because the movie is so visually well presented that she doesn't have to say anything. It's just such a well-made movie. In second place is Ash. I still don't actually know what the plot is. I know IMDb pitches it as a psychological thriller where a girl wakes up in a space station as the last survivor of something with no memory of what happened, and this dude comes down to rescue her and take her home, and she has no idea if she can trust this dude because she has no memory of this dude. I know that's what the pitch is, but I don't actually know if that's what the plot is because the twist ending was so confounding. I really need to watch an ending explained. But the reason this is number 2 on my list is because the colors alone are so freaking gorgeous. Wow! Every single shot left my jaw dropped on the floor asking, physically, how do you light that? How do you make a shot look this good? How do you make a movie this drenched in color? Especially compared to some of the very grayscale Hollywood blockbusters we get. This is incredible from the visuals alone. And number 1 is In the Lost Lands. It's directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who you might recognize from making Resident Evil and the older Mortal Kombat movies. It stars Mila Jovovich. It stars Dave Bautista and Mila Jovovich, and it's based on a short story by George R.R. Martin. Now, the plot is about a witch and a mysterious hunter who go into the Lost Lands to grant the Queen's wish of becoming a werewolf. But the better way to pitch this movie is, did you want an Omegaverse fanfic of Mad Max? If not, why not? This thing is incredible. Every single shot left my jaw on the floor. The level of grimdark in this movie is so delightful. And it feels a lot like Zack Snyder's early work, like 300, Watchmen, and Legends of the Guardians. No, Legends of the Guardians. And these are my top 10, having not even watched all the movies I wanted to see in March. I couldn't watch The Woman in the Yard because I need to not watch movies that have a trigger warning for suicide, and I had to skip a Working Man, and Opus, and The Actor, and Any Day Now, which is a heist movie, and I really want to watch that one, but eventually I had to say, I need to actually make this video. But I couldn't make this video without watching So Torn, and Ash, and In the Lost Lands, because those 3 were some of my most anticipated movies of the year. What are your favorite movies you've seen lately? Follow me on YouTube and Blue Sky at Movies and Heists for more movie love. You can get these videos a week early and help fund my movie at patreon.com/moviesandheists. Special thanks to these patrons for helping to fund my movie.